with it, man. Listen, come on.
Because I always respected your hairline on
You
television.
know, you know what I'm saying? Come
And
on, relax, come
I'm
on.
getting it. It's not talking to you.
Huh?
It's not talking to you that I'm standing on business, is it? You're not getting it.
So she was just people how she's talking about Aisha Curry like her client. And your lawyer will always try to paint you in the best light. Like I said before, there's more than likely, especially if you're a black dude, there's a hater in your bedroom. I gotta get a breath. Please don't make me wait. Listen, it's a hater in your bedroom. A lot of y'all be sleeping next to a hater, and women also too like to find ways to avoid doing work. Like most dudes, if you do a job and you're doing the same job as like a woman, unless it's like some shit like with a computer or something with talking, you will pick up on. She tries to find ways to physically not do things. Like I had a conversation earlier with my homeboy. He does security. He shares that job with another woman, right? And he'll be talking about how like she'll do a bullshit job with basically doing her tour where she like walks around the facility and check everything out, right? He was getting into that. And in general, women find ways to again manipulate things without using force, without actually doing anything, right? And one of the ways they do that, right, is again is not taking accountability and creating a way for other women to not take accountability, right? And another thing is too is women's idea of success, because at the end of the day, she's even if a woman is successful or not successful, she still wants a successful man, and she won't consider herself as successful really unless she has a man she deems as valuable or successful or whatever the such, right? This logic only works if you're the kind of man who really believes in happy wife, happy life, and that, all right, if I center my happiness on her, we'll all be good. And really, it's really some bullying. That's some emotional bullying. Because a lot of men, well, they really think in their mind, their relationship is good if she happy. I want you to really think about that. If you a man watch me right now, what is your idea of a good relationship? And you may have an ideal of it, right? But for the most part, what you get, your idea of the relationship going good is if she's happy. Because for the most part, when women aren't happy, what they do is make your life a living hell. They find some way to torment you, whether it's being annoying, whether it's starting a fight with you, whether it's pulling back from you. They listen. Women are always trying to find ways to get you to react because a hug and a kiss is cool, but when they see it, they got you engaged and everything. That's like busting a nut for them. You understand? So anyway, we not buying into the whole boss chick thing, but we are going to acknowledge the fact that Aisha Curry is not like no like broke bitch. Aisha Curry is worth $50 million. Aisha Curry has done pretty well with the things she's tried to do. Like I think she has some cookbooks. She's been on TV and stuff like that. So she's done pretty well for herself. So this whole conversation, because honestly, real talk, I think a part of it is like, yo, we have created this world where women now have an insatiable desire for everything, right? And a part of that is leaning too much into thinking that how you think and how you feel is always right. Oh, it's always this very disturbing clip from Zoe Saldana that I always think about, right? And what it really kind of says is that on the outside, when you first hear it, it sounds like someone being very confident and being a human being, very confident and trial and error and having, and they sound like they're a person of great tremendous faith. But as an older guy listening to this, as a guy who thinks more factually listening to this, I hear something a little bit different. Hold on, make sure my mic is on the right mic. Hold on, make sure we good. Okay, everything Gucci. Hold on, we go with the mic. All right, cool. Yeah, so on the outside, it sounds like she like really cooking, right? I'm gonna play it for you, but what it really is like she's kind of doing. How can I say? It's like a certain mode that modern women are in, and I feel like it really encapsulates like how the modern woman who sees herself as like sophisticated and as smart, as intelligent, and she went to school for whatever degree, probably in basket weaving, right? And what she's basically saying is that, yo, it doesn't matter if I fuck up. Doesn't matter if I fuck up relationships. Doesn't basically you don't hear her saying I want to learn from my mistakes and be better. She's basically kind of saying I accept myself as I am, and you should too.
I know who I am. I love who I am. I like what I do. And I like how I do it. And I like my mistakes. And I like the way I learn. And I like the pace.
You know, actually, not fuck that. We need to actually see her face, and I want you to see how the women look when she starts talking this shit. Hold on, yo.
That's my biggest achievement in life. I know who I am. I love who I am. I like what I do. And I like how I do it. And I like my mistakes. And I like the way I learn. And I like the pace with which I learn my mistakes. I don't want to be anybody else but me. And by knowing this, I want to continue figuring out who the I am. That's it.
And one thing you won't never hear modern women talk about is I want to be a really great woman. I want to be a really great person, or things that are to the effect of I want people to know me for being great at what I do, or being great. For the most part, you always hear modern women saying, I want you to accept me as I am. All right. I don't want to have to actually compete. Because people who say shit like, I don't want to be anyone else, I want to be me, and what, that speaks to, that's insecurity. Like women that are going to have a really deep, I'm real talk, women think like loser men. This is how loser niggas be thinking. Like a loser has a deep insecurity about who he is. That's why like niggas can hear like Kendrick's music. A nigga that can hear Kendrick's music and really feel like it's deep, or you're learning something that's profound. You're not actually a deep person. You're not actually a person who's done the work. Because if you've actually done the work, you be able to see through. This is a character you're playing. Like, I'm not saying that. Well, I know you'd be a terrible person, but like, you're not righteous like that. You're not a giving. There's no evidence that you're a giving person. And I always tell y'all niggas, keep it a stack with you. Yo, you cannot be friends with niggas that's too broke. You cannot be friends with niggas that's too short. All right, and you cannot. If you a nigga that got motion, it's really hard to be friends with someone who has no motion. Or if you a real jiggy nigga where people like you a lot and whatnot, and people gravitate towards you, it's hard to be friends with someone who doesn't have that about them. If you're a really positive person, it's hard to deal with someone who's like emotionally unstable and they just go through times and periods where they're a different person, like literally a different person, and they lose time. Like real talk, not having a mother and father in the house, that you learn no emotional regulation and you become the kind of person who cannot solve any of your problems. A lot of people don't realize a lot of your stress comes from your inability, you know what I'm saying, to problem solve, and how you deal with coming to a solution. All right. And how you deal with that. A lot of people, for the most part, the lower the station that person has in life, the more likely they are to do, as they say, crash out. Because in their mind, they are so stressed out by the problem that all they can do is kind of throw a tantrum. All they can do is kind of huff and puff. All they can do is catch an attitude and really get angry. And the anger comes from the frustration they feel from not being able to solve their own problem. But what's stopping them from solving their problem, it is the emotional instability. It's because, you can't stop taking shit personal. No, because you can't actually focus. A high vibrational behavior is to focus on things that are important and be able to focus on things that are important. If you ever find yourself being distracted by things that don't matter, or find yourself getting mad about the same thing over and over and over again, usually that is a sign that you were in a lower vibration. Me myself personally, I have been struggling to get out of a lower vibration for the last couple of years. Now, mind you, I vibrate way higher than most people and whatnot, but I know I can vibrate higher. I know I can take it a step further, right? But over here on Six Paths TV, when we get over here and talk this shit, we talk about the actual game plan, the actual action plan. Even for myself, right? I want to get to doing 100 YouTube remixes a week, all right? And I want to get to where I'm posting at least 10 or 20 of those on my TikTok and my Instagram. I want to get to where I'm at least posting the links to all my videos on Twitter. You know what I mean? And posting, a few links on Threads and taking advantage of all my social media. Cause I get that, if I'm too ambitious, I'm not gonna do anything. But if I make it simple for myself, all right, boom, just accomplish doing 5 YouTube shorts with custom thumbnails. Just try to make sure you upload 10 times this week, at least 10. You know what I'm saying? Because I usually record about 4 or 5 times. It's usually at least 10 videos in that, if not more. You understand? So anyway, but I mention these things because there's a whole timeline to it, right? But bigger than that, let's go ahead and look at what's actually going on. Listen, my heart goes out to this lady. I feel so bad for this lady, man. So this lady is she's one of many people, right, who probably bought a property during the pandemic, and she had the intention of using this property